What's up, YouTube? Let's talk horror movies here. I'm doing a new kind of video. It's a movie news video, specifically on one subject. I just did a live stream about some stuff. I'm getting used to doing that because I'm using it through my phone and iPad, because I think a couple weeks ago I got to 50 plus subscribers, and I needed 50 to be able to live stream and stuff. So again, I do appreciate that. But so this movie news came out about almost 3 weeks. It'll be 3 weeks in a few days or something like that. I think on the 25th it will be 3 weeks since this was announced. But yeah, The Mummy 4 is happening with Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz returning, and it's going to be directed by Radio Silence. This was huge news because this literally came out like a day or two before that new Mummy movie that's in post-production, that's directed by Lee Cronin, has not been testing well according to reports, in that it might be retitled The Resurrection. Now, that hasn't been officially announced yet, so we'll see. I don't know at this point, like, just keep it, because you already did The Invisible Man, you did Wolfman. That's for Universal / Blumhouse, so I don't know why you would change it now. Just call it Lee Cronin's The Mummy. But according to that, it's not really a mummy movie. It's using the mummy curse to possess somebody in a way. From what some people have said, it's from reports from the test screen, it's like more of a Deadite. It reminded a lot of people to his other movie, his movie Evil Dead Rise. So that's kind of concerning in a way, because that it's not truly the mummy movie that people wanted or you're expecting. It's going down that hole again, like with Wolfman, where they're doing something a bit different, which I did really appreciate with Wolfman. I really do like Wolfman. But again, I think it is flawed. I don't think they don't go enough with the werewolf, but I think emotionally it's again a tragic story, and it deals with this with a disease kind of thing. Like, I like that aspect. I feel like they didn't push it further, maybe a little, not too much. Especially how isolated the film was. I think that probably might have hurt it a bit. Obviously hurting it because you don't get the Wolfman. For some people, didn't fully realize the Wolfman look, and that was a big thing for a lot of people, so that was unfortunate. But yeah, this so you have that, and now we get The Mummy 4. If you guys, Radio Silence did Abigail, did Ready or Not, doing the sequel, and then they did Scream 5 and Scream 6, which I did enjoy. I think I'm a big fan of 6. Outside of the reveals of that movie, which kind of feels kind of anticlimactic in a way. So, and earlier today, I think, Brendan Fraser came out and said that this is what he's been waiting for like over 20 years to finally get to do Mummy 4. The original, the first two were directed by Stephen Sommers. The third one was directed by Rob Cohen. The movie, which it grossed over $422 million. They also did a prequel, The Scorpion King, though it just feels more of like a spin-off, because that Scorpion King doesn't feel like the Scorpion King we get in The Mummy Returns. And an animated series. It's an underrated animated series. Go check it. I think it's still on Peacock, but 2 seasons. It's definitely different. But I liked it. And then the third film, Maria Bello replaced Rachel Weisz, obviously. I mean, obviously in the sense of, like, that's another reason why she's returning, is to kind of this, which she didn't return because, according to rumors, according to reports, it was script and mixed with her pregnancy, but she's denied about the pregnancy part. It's really about the script that she did not like. And honestly, you could tell, like, and I like Maria Bello, but I don't think they had the chemistry, and it feels off when you recast, especially in the third film, when the first two where you have Frasier and Weisz and they have really good chemistry, and you have Maria Bello. Evie feels totally kind of different in this third film, and I think that was the point in a way at where they're at in their lives, but even so, it was just different. And again, because they're different actresses, so you can't expect her to play Evie the same way that Weisz did, and I think the way she played it was probably the way she could have, without trying to do Weisz, which wouldn't have probably worked. And then they had Luke Ford played the son in the third one, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Freddie Booth played the younger version in Mummy Returns. It is unclear who could return. The one source says the project is not a reboot, but rather a sequel. Would just a sequel that would discard the events of the third film, which I'm glad to hear. Now, there was something that someone posted saying that it was going to ignore the events of the third film and trying to get rid of the son. I don't think that part is true. I know that was posted. I forget, was it Boris Kitt who had that in there? One of the trades did have it in there, but on their Twitter they put it in there, but not in this. It's not in the story, so I don't think that's true because if you're just disregarding the third film, then it makes no sense to get rid of the son, because the son is in the second film. Sorry, you cannot just ignore that he has this. You don't have to have him in the movie. You can just, say he went to college, or he's at school, or something happened. But I don't think they'll do that. I don't think you should do that, because because The Mummy Returns, I really love that film. Actually, I think I have it higher than 1. Though I understand that the CGI in the second one is really rough, and it's more of the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson scorpion sequence. Oh God, I don't understand what they were doing at all. But yeah, it's that's what it is. David Racheal is writing the screenplay. He's written Orphan First Kill, and he's writing Orphans 3. So that's going to be interesting, because I dug Orphan First Kill, and I'm excited for Orphans 3. But you're going from those two to The Mummy 4, directed by Racheal Silence. That's interesting. Yeah, the next thing for Racheal Silence is Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. Yeah, this was the choice of Racheal Silence. I think is a good one, because I think they did a good job with Abigail, because it's a vampire film, and the way they were able to intertwine that with the horror, action, and humor, which was what they needed for The Mummy, in which was one of the biggest issues with The Mummy 2017, was that movie was totally all over the place. In that, it's trying to have the horror, it's trying to have the action, it's trying to have the humor, and it just doesn't all work. And I don't hate The Mummy 2017. I like the portrayal of the mummy in the movie. Actually, I like the actress. She doesn't get enough in the movie, in my opinion. I know, because that was directed by Robert Kurtzman. I believe it was Robert Kurtzman. And it was his only second feature. The other one was Just Like Us, or it was a Chris Pine movie with Elizabeth Banks. It was a dramedy. And then he goes into this. I know he's produced big budget films, but this was the first time he was directing. And according to reports, that he was having a hard time. He wasn't. It was a lot for him to handle, and really Tom brought in Christopher McQuarrie to come in and do some rewrites, and it felt like Tom was more ultimately in charge of the rest of the production, which it does feel like really Tom heavy stuff, and that's not a bad thing, but for The Mummy, I don't think that's what they needed. I think they needed someone to direct this with a more confident in themselves to direct a film like this, and they needed someone to guide the tone of the film, because Kurtzman, I don't think, knew how to be able to dictate, because there's 3 damn different tones in this film, in The Mummy 2017, and it's just God, there was so much potential, and it still did over $400 million, and they were still going forward with The Bride of Frankenstein. They had Bill Condon to direct. I mean, I know Jolie was attached at one point, but I don't know how real that ultimately was. And then there was rumors before Bride got canceled that they were looking at Gal Gadot. So there were so many things, but the Dark Universe ended before I could start. But yeah, The Mummy 2017 was a huge, big disappointment. Like Mummy, the Tomb Dragon Emperor. What was unique about that was, they had the Jet Li. It was not your standard. It wasn't the first two mummies with the same mummy. I don't know where they're gonna go with this fourth one. That's gonna be the big question mark. Where they go? Do they bring back Arnold Vosloo to be the mummy again? Do we want that again, or do something like Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, but with the cat, with Rachel Weisz back, and something much more like, nothing against Arnold Vosloo as Imhotep, but I don't want I don't know. I want it because both times was more about him and his lost love kind of thing, and I don't know if I want that again, if he's particularly going to do that. But I'm open to seeing what else they could do. But I'm just happy we're going to get to play in this world again, because it's so much fun. It's so action. It's fun, action packed. But there's also this is the movie that knew how to fit that tone of the action and horror, adventure, and some humor. And that's very hard to get right, and they just absolutely knocked it out of the park with Mummy Returns. And I don't mind Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. One of the biggest issues, besides the Rachel Weisz, is that Jet Li wasn't on set the whole time. I think he only shot for like 2 weeks or something like that, maybe 2 weeks or less. So there's reasons why he's like overly CGI in the film, is because he wasn't there totally on set. So that's why they had to keep him in a certain way until a certain part where then you finally, okay, it's Jet Li. Again, the biggest issue is the casting, probably of Maria Bello in that film, along with what I just said. But I think I definitely appreciate what they were trying to do differently, a different Mummy story. So I don't think it's not bad. I don't think it's as strong as the other two. The CGI is definitely better, I think, especially when you compare to what the Mummy Returns did. But I know the Mummy Returns went into really fast, to get it going, and that's why it was rushed. They were trying to get out fast, so. But yeah, overall, I'm happy. I can't wait for this movie to happen. I wonder what, I'll give it to you guys. What do you guys think of The Mummy 4? Are you guys happy about Brendan Fraser coming back? Are you disappointed that it's happening? Are you disappointed about Lee Cronin's The Mummy that's not, might change its title? Let me know in the comments down below. This is Let's Talk Horror Movies, signing off. Peace.